welcome back to another episode of African Wealth. I will be your host, Bradley Bailey, and I will be joined by my two colleagues, Michael Etheridge and Patrick Chambliss. Today, we're going to talk about Akon and the city he is building in Senegal, how he funded the project, and how it relates to the African Economic Foundation. Michael, since you're the expert in this field, kick us off and tell us how Akon is taking on this feat.
How he did it was he promised some other countries or other countries of giving them light and stuff, right? So he teamed up with the Chinese people that had X amount of solar panels that the US had tariffs and stuff on them, so they were just sitting there. So that played in his favor. So he got it through them to provide them. So he cut the middleman out is with the World Bank and stuff. So he said that would take like five years or whatever for them to push for the money to clear. So he played on them and said, hey, and he knew it was up for elections. So he said, hey, I could provide your guys with some power as if you invest in me. And when he started giving them power and stuff, the other countries was like, yo, he's giving them power now. Yo, we got power. So, and then that's how he got them on a board. But initially, he was funded through the I forgot the name of that Chinese construction company, who also parts with Senegalese country as well. But yeah, that's how he did it, man. $1 billion, that's a lot of money. You know what we can do with $1 billion for our initiative?
And he's going to see that return too. So it's not like it's a massive debt.
Exactly.
Especially upon completion of the city. That's definitely going to make way more than the $1 billion.
Yeah, and I also saw that he also had a credit line when he was powering the cities, a credit line for $1 billion with who he was working with, the Chinese company.
Yeah.
Right.
So and now that KE International, which is going to be the construction and consulting firm, engineering firm, they are pitching in their $4 billion from their investors, and they get $2 billion from $2 billion from the pot and with Akon.
Yeah.
And basically this is what I see so far, how this project is going up.
And also I saw one of the articles because there's also they also took part, that KE International company. They also took part in building Kenya's smart city.
Yeah.
I think it's called Mwale City, something like that. It's a Kenyan. It's pretty much like Akon. It's a Kenyan dude. I think he was from America, but his family is from Kenya. But he decided to invest back into Kenya by building them a city. So apparently on this project with KE International, he's actually a part of the team as well to help make the city as well. Because I think the Kenyan city, they're actually going to be using Akon as well, or already using it.
Oh, yeah.
So once this city is built, they're going to link together.
Yeah.
And I think
so
that's
the
clutch.
group the group that he got the money from, they're worth $10 billion in assets. So they had they gave him a credit line of $1 billion. And the cool thing about that is it also gave them the advantage to pay it back in slow increments, instead of, how like, hey, you owe us all of this, versus, it's kind of like they have it like on a payment plan to pay it back, because like you said, the equipment is going to pay for itself. And it actually also is in straight competition with the gas and the candle companies that, because most of Africa doesn't have like power like that. So, you're getting cheap electric, for the cost of, penny on the dollar. Yeah, that's a smart move.
Yeah. And the fact that everybody is moving towards their own currency, a crypto coin, and connecting, I think that's clutch.
Because if Africa gets into or locks down like cryptocurrency like how it is now with these two dudes,
yeah,
that'll put them ahead into the future when things start becoming more and more digital. You can see now with the current pandemic, like even here, like I think there's certain cities or even states that they didn't accept cash, only card.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that And me personally, like I love using my card. I hate going to the bank to get cash out. That's like one of the most annoying things for me to do. So
Yeah.
I think this is an exciting moment for people in Africa, and it could be. I wish it was an exciting moment for people in America, African Americans, because that's a lot of money that contractors could be getting if they were focused more on Africa. Because there's a lot of people that will say, "Oh, Akon's just going in with the Chinese. This is the Chinese doing this, and da da da. This ain't African made." And I think that's unfair to say because who else does he have to turn to build? Because I don't know any big African or African American company that can undertake something this big. I mean, they had the time to do it, but no one has been focused on Africa. No one has been focused on getting bigger than building smaller things here in America and making money doing subcontracting or stuff like that. No one has broke that mold yet, and that's what people are going to use against Akon when they hear about this type of information. So
yeah,
what
no,
do you guys think about
and what kills me with that um, is that those same people that are complaining
that? Hmm.
either one don't have a skill themselves, or two didn't even like think of even research something like this to try to even get these contracts. But I'm not sure if there's even to be honest, I'm not even sure if there's even like a black construction company of that scale.
There is.
I don't think so.
There's a couple of them.
But
Okay, so go ahead, shoot.
yeah,
Yeah, but I don't
put
know
us
them right
on.
off. I didn't know them right offhand, but I know there's a black, I think a female owned black construction company, I think based out of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. There's a couple of them, so maybe we can revisit this later with those construction companies and see how that can work with us and our benefit and having their apprentices, or we can work something with them to rotate some workers, in and out of Africa, help building it, for the cause, kind of like a partnership. So this way we could build, a network in Africa as well as in America, always touch back in America. So, like I said, there's always room for, improving and networking. And this is one of the biggest thing is networking, which Akon did. And if I'm not mistaken, the article that I read when he did the interview with Cannon, when Nick Cannon was saying like, "Yo, you ain't gonna be able to do that. It's gonna take a billionaire to do that." And he's like, "Hold up, why are you saying that? It don't take a billionaire. A billionaire don't even call himself a billionaire. So it's just that mindset of Nick Cannon, who has money, is not even saying that he would support it or whatever, or support the idea. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was like, yeah, it's going to take a billionaire to do that. But he already have a projection date of 2025, if I'm not mistaken, to be continued.
Yeah,
That's
so
phase 2.
yeah, so from what I've read, and I also want to respond to what he was talking, or add on to what you were saying too. So the whole project as a whole is a 10-year project starting now. I think they're actually building right now. So right now they're doing phase 1, like adding like the roads and stuff like that. Pretty much like I guess using the road as a cutout to see what they're like to form the shapes of what they're going to fill in with buildings and stuff like that, and the hospitals and malls and all those good stuff that they want to build in addition to the city.
Right.
And then phase 2, he said, I think it's going to start in 5 years, so in 2025. Now with his whole campaign, I said this to a lot. I said this to you guys a lot outside of this. Akon's whole spiel has been focused on us in the diaspora, specifically African Americans, investing into the continent. Because one thing Akon knows, like we do, since he was born and raised here, he knows how the country is built, and other countries too around the world, in regards to how they treat us as Black people. So the only place that we'll have respect, wealth, and power is back on our continent. So, and he realizes that. So he repeatedly has, over the years, has been saying like, "Yo, African Americans, come back, invest. Let's build." And I noticed like when he's talking to other rappers, like other artists, like black artists, they look at him like he's crazy, like telling him like recommending to do that, which is very odd to me. But at the same time, I understand why, because of how we grew up. Like that's the only thing we know is the United States, and anything else outside of that is foreign, and we don't. It's we're scared of it pretty much, or to even try.
Yeah. So into your point of saying investing in stuff, we know that he knows that going back to Africa is the thing. He also knows that, like I said earlier, that the governing body or whoever's sitting there, they're corrupted, but their
Yeah,
mind is corrupted for the most part. So from the article, I'm gonna read a quote from it. In Africa, you gotta manipulate them. You have to. You have to trick them. No, like really. He goes on to say you gotta kick them. You gotta trick them. And then he goes on to say that this is what he was talking about, and it was at a African Day celebration in May 25th. So he knows that it's going to take a little bit of politicking, which we said that we're going to, when we go to the country or whatever country we go to, that we need to talk to the politicians there to see that they're going to invest in us. So we are on the right path to making sure that the blueprint for starting our own thing out there and building up in Africa. So this is kind of like a blueprint of that.
And that was Akon saying that, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. I just and that's funny because that's kind of stuff that in my head I was thinking about, but it was funny to hear him say something like that. But this I think this is a great time to kind of segue into like how this kind of how the AEF is trying to do what Akon is doing in Senegal. We're trying to take a little bit. We're doing it a little bit different, but in essence, I think Akon is a good case study of what we're trying to do in Africa, or what we're trying to get done in Africa. Because I know the AEF, we're trying to promote African Americans and everyone to connect together and to make a push, an economic push to become to make institutions, to build institutions, and to take back control of Africa. And this is there can be a lot of wealth that can be gained from doing this. And what I want the AEF to do is just kind of just have resources on hand to educate and to help people get to Africa and invest. May it be by language, by learning a new language, may it be by knowing how to operate a business there before you even get there. Like I want the website to have a wealth of knowledge on, so when they get ready to, they can just look at it, look at what area they're trying to go to, and look at all the information they can and get everything that they need. I don't want people to pay for needed services that they can instead use that money to build up their business so they can be much more successful. This is what's going to separate us from everybody else, and then I think we can help build a city, build multiple cities across the continent using this technique, using this formula. And I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's a great plan. It's something that should have been done in the first place for a while. And then it's crazy that nobody else has thought about that, of even doing that.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, like we're gonna give people resources, but we're also gonna be building on our end as well, like having our own projects to help the continent, to then further that bond, that reconnection from the continent to the diaspora and back.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense at this point, to be honest. Even before these current events, like that was going to happen anyways. But I think with these current events, especially with the pandemic, because the pandemic, it showed that a lot of countries relied, like in regards to like goods. It showed that like all these countries around the world relied way too much on China, but that comes from greed though, because I guess apparently from what the world leaders were saying, it was cheaper in these companies. It was cheaper to have things produced in China rather than be produced in their own country. But I think now, and I've seen a few countries start to like talk about this now, that things are going to go back to having more domestic factories than having other people make their things for them.
Mm.
And I think, not even I think, I know like Africa, the one thing that I don't like that they haven't had yet is an industrial revolution, where there's like a big boom of manufacturing on the continent anywhere. Granted, you have some slight industrial spots popping up, like for us, how we recently came back from Rwanda and Kigali. Like they're like kind of like doing that to a certain degree. Like they mainly deal with the assembly though. Like I know like there's a Chinese motorbike brand that they manufacture the parts in China, but they send them to Rwanda so they can be built, like, put together. So, and then I think with the Volkswagen, I think that's also something that's being made there with the exclusive electric only vehicles that Kagame is trying to push in Kigali to make it a more like a cleaner city than it already is. So, and then with the whole phone thing, how they have a phone company there that's manufactured and assembled in Kigali as well. So, but that's just one country. That's not a common thing yet throughout the whole continent. So, I think we can also play a part in that by promoting the idea of our fellow African Americans or people in the diaspora to leave the countries behind that they currently reside in. Well, not even leave them behind, but focus more on home base, which is our continent, and then it'll then show throughout the diaspora. Like my favorite person is Amos Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says the reason why the things that are being done to us happen is because our home base is also in a powerless / weak state. Until that happens, until home base, which is the continent of Africa, until Africa is strong, will continue to be abused in the ways that we are. Gotcha. And there's a lot of opportunities right now in the continent, especially with this pandemic. But even prior to this pandemic, there was a lot of opportunity being shown that a lot of us over here in the States can get into. But I think it all stems from that fear because of us being disconnected for so long, and then the schools pretty much like promoting that our people on the continent is just like these hut dwelling people that haven't advanced over like 1,000 years and stuff like that. But now with the internet, and then in addition with the year of the return that happened last year, now that's going to change. I could definitely see that changing, even with people repatriating now. So, back to your question, yes. What we're doing with the website and as the organization as a whole is a very good thing, and I think we're going to be like that spark that's going to probably spark other organizations to pop up than the ones that already exist, and influence people to want to focus more on the continent than their countries that they currently reside in outside of the continent.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. But I would say this, though. It's like the AEF, we're creating this, it's like African diaspora commerce. It's where Black businesses can go to, it's kind of like shopping all Black businesses, or where Black people can come to promote their business. It's the same thing as, hey, we give you the tools here to actually start your business, or, wherever you're trying to go, at least you have an idea of what you need to start with. It's kind of like the starter kit for repatriating back over to Africa. So this way it's not, it takes all of the guessing out of it. It might be some new updates, and we are there to actually make sure that the website is up to date on current events and things that is going on as far as policies and, laws. And so, but I definitely think that this is an eye opener from this, like you said, the pandemic and stuff. This is an eye opener. But we also know that Africa is like lagging in technology behind, because a lot of things that we are privy to, they don't have. So being cut off from the world should probably say, you know what? I think we need to depend on ourselves. Like you said, because everything is coming from either the U.S. or based out of China. So if we can get those manufacturers or builders, the engineers to go out there and build these manufacturers so that they can start producing their own and going out there and building these roads for transportation to keep logistics, up. Africa can sustain itself just off of its own resources. So, and we have the knowledge. The African Americans have the knowledge to come back over there to provide that. It's just like an old sergeant major that got out the army. He knows almost probably everything, if not about combat arms and stuff. So you want to get that guy knowledge and experience when you're going into the army or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing as going over there to Africa. So, yeah, I think this is a good move for the AEF and what we're trying to provide the people. So, yep.
Sure. And one last thing I will say is I think what Akon is doing and everything he's building is a good case study. This is how we should be thinking. This is how people should be coming over to Africa, should be trying to build. This is how the AEF is trying to structure itself so that it can facilitate. Because I know we have something planned from our construction members and all this, where we're planning to go in business ourselves and do something big. And I think Akon is going to be, hopefully is going to be setting a trend in Africa. And this is what it takes to kind of push people. Once people start seeing what he's doing, start to push people to say, hey, especially black people, say, hey, there's money to be made over there. There's freedom to be gained. There's problems that we can just work solutions. But that's all I got. Any last words from you guys?
Like Akon is literally showing step by step of what we should be doing. Granted, he is an international artist, so he has way more money to utilize and bigger connection of higher echelon.
Yeah,
Obviously. So, but again, like I said earlier, his focus has been to tell the diaspora, like, yo, let's come together and build up our home. Yeah, we may all come from different countries, but that is still home base, and we need to take care of that. And if we don't do that, you're going to continue to be in the current predicaments that we're in. And this is the only place that you can be, that you'll be respected, loved, cared for, and you can also build a legacy for yourself, which I know a lot of people want to do in life. So yeah, he is the prime example, or one of the biggest examples to follow.
And his strategy is great, because him putting up those lights, he is training engineers and to paint this. So it's like he said, it's almost like teaching them how to fish rather than a fish.
Yeah,
they are actually providing for themselves. So, and they created 5,000 jobs that started. So.
Yeah, because they also train the local people. It's not like they hired foreign people,
right?
Like they hired like Chinese or European people, like, or Asian people and European people. Like they actually train the local people, so to build it up, and then to also teach them how to maintain that as well if things go down. So it's, again, it created the job opportunities and it created wealth, and then that's gonna also be a part of his legacy as well. So that's all I gotta say about Akon, man. The one person you would least expect on top of that.